Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Anshu Sharma here. This is the sixth presentation of Spiritual and Kundalini Awakening series. If you have not seen part 1 to 5, links are in the description box. We discussed from eons being separated from the source, we have forgotten the knowledge of ourselves and of our higher self, which is contained in our DNA. This knowledge is now slowly being triggered and brought to our conscious mind. The keys to unlock this knowledge are activation, unification, expansion, and finally liberation. In our fifth presentation, we discussed the signs of our spiritual awakening. And in this presentation, we start exploring the next step, the Kundalini awakening. The process of spiritual awakening has started, but in reality, it may take you from months to decades to lifetimes to unlock and embody the spiritual knowledge first and then unlock the Kundalini energy. So, let's talk about Kundalini energy. What is Kundalini energy? According to ancient Indian spiritual traditions, especially Tantra, Yoga, and Vedanta, there resides a form of dormant spiritual energy at the base of everyone's spine, often symbolized as a coiled serpent. What is it? It is a divine feminine energy called Shakti. It lies dormant unless it is awakened. So, what is Kundalini awakening? As we just discovered, Kundalini is a dormant spiritual energy at the base of the spine, and with spiritual practices or spiritual awakening, it is awakened. What happens when it is awakened? One experiences expanded consciousness. One experiences spiritual enlightenment. And there is a profound inner transformation in one's body and mind, and also the brain structure changes. There are also changes in the spinal cord energy centers and also in the conscious and subconscious mind. After Kundalini settles, one experiences blissful states or even mystical experiences. So, this Kundalini awakening is an electrophysiological process. What it means is that one experiences an increase in the electricity type of sensation within one's nervous system, in one's physiology. Kundalini energy is a powerful force. So there are currents in the body which awaken, and one experiences these currents in the body as waves of low voltage electricity. Now, these waves of low voltage electricity is experienced in different locations and different chakras at varying times. So there is no well-defined process. There is no well-defined locations that this is where it is going to start and this is where the Kundalini is going to stop or get settled. So one experiences different symptoms in different locations and in different energy chakras at varying times. So there is no linear um, process. So primal God's forces as energy and consciousness, then because of this awakening waves of voltage electricity, it reaches every cell and organ of the body. So Kundalini awakening affects mainly the people who are experiencing, the souls who are ready for Kundalini awakening these souls have already done much work in spiritual awakening in their past lives. The leftover work continues in this life. Every soul is on their own stages of the spiritual journey. Some souls work faster and some souls work slower, and there is no judgment. Compassionate universe is under no hurry. So people experience spiritual awakening and then they go back and enjoy the material life, and then in stages the spiritual awakening and Kundalini awakening occurs as and when they are ready. There are changes in the emotions. The emotions of such souls who are undergoing the Kundalini and spiritual awakening, the emotion changes to helping, empathy, non-judgment, unconditional love. So these emotions are already present in such souls because the spiritual awakening has already taken place, much work has been already done, and now such souls are ready for the next step, which is the Kundalini awakening. So their emotions are not the lower emotions of anger, judgment, and pain and suffering. So the emotions have already transformed to the emotions of helping, empathy, non judgment, unconditional love, and so forth. So such souls are forever ready to help. Rather, the lesson they have to learn now is the wisdom to know when to offer help and when leave it to divine justice. Because such souls have to understand, those who have already undergone or going a Kundalini awakening, that this process is not the same with everyone. So non-judgment and the patience have to be applied. The guidance could be given to others, but with the recognition that other person will work at their own pace in their own time. Intuition rises. Intuition awakens and enhances. On Kundalini awakening, intuition increases. Through intuition, such souls are able to use energy data to make decisions in the present moment. Kundalini awakening usually follows after the dark night of the soul, or sometimes at the same time, simultaneously. So sometimes prior to Kundalini awakening or sometimes simultaneously, souls undergo dark night of the soul. This is the testing time for such souls, as sometimes all their identities crash, either one by one or all identities crash together at the same time. There is no set procedure for everyone. With me, particularly, this was a very intense experience because all my identities crashed at the same time. And when this happens, there is an intense experience of pain and suffering, and at the same time, have the feeling, what do I do? Where do I stand? What is happening to me? So, when these questions come, then you just have to surrender and wait for the next guidance from God or from higher souls. So one undergoes Kundalini awakening in their own divine timing. This is definitely a challenging time when sometimes suffering increases, and all you have to do is surrender and look up for divine guidance. But it's all for good. When it all settles down, then you realize the wisdom you have received. And with that wisdom, how you can help humanity. With hard life, hard lessons are learned. Souls experiencing Kundalini awakening undergo intense learning periods. Though intense at that time when these are being experienced, but these experiences help the souls later on when they are helping other people, because they themselves have undergone such experiences. Life is not easy, and there are many emotional turmoils along the way for the souls undergoing Kundalini awakening. Divine guidance is sought. Souls start getting divine guidance at night, during the daytime, and especially in the moments when they need it most, in the during the time when they are experiencing chaos and other turmoils. At times, souls undergoing Kundalini awakening do get frustrated, which is normal, as people around them are not able to understand or perceive what they are going through, what they are intuitively feeling. So, when they describe their experiences or attempt to tell people this is what humanity is going to undergo in future, they get the resistance, the backlash from the people around them. And this is the time when an intense tolerance and patience is taught to such souls, because they have got the Kundalini awakening. It does not mean that others have got it. So they have to act with patience and tolerance and learn not to open their mouth to people who are not ready to listen or experience. Such lessons are learned as experiences become more intense. More lessons of patience, tolerance, divine timing, and surrender are to be learned. Now we are going to talk about, there is a link of central nervous system and Kundalini awakening. There is a connection. Kundalini is said to travel up the spine, but not always in this order, passing through the energy centers, the chakras, along the spine. The spinal cord is the key part of central nervous system. It is seen as the physical counterpart of the subtle energy channels, which are called nadis. Now, nadis are not nerves. One has to differentiate. At times, there is an overload on central nervous system. When there is a spontaneous Kundalini awakening happens. Now, when it happens, then Kundalini energy rises too quickly. One is not mentally prepared or doesn't know what is happening, has not learned. That's why I'm making this video, because people do not know what is happening within their body. Some people have never heard about Kundalini awakening. And suddenly the Kundalini rises. So it might overwhelm the central nervous system, obviously. And because there is no mental preparation, so one gets overwhelmed with that uh, sudden stimulation of central nervous system. And one wonders what is happening within me. So suddenly what one can experience is insomnia, mood swings. Then there is a spontaneous movements within the body where the electricity moves in various parts of the body. There are vibrations felt. Then sometimes, not always, but sometimes there is heat or pressure sensations along the spine. Sometimes people become very anxious because they do not know what's happening. There is an anxiousness and there is spiritual crisis. So one wants it to stop. So these are the things can happen. And so this is the time when you work with the experienced people, or if you know this knowledge beforehand, then sort of you know that this is connected to Kundalini awakening. So how do you support the central nervous system during Kundalini awakening? You do grounding practices because there is a lot of mental stimulation. So you sort of counterbalance it with walking in nature or cooking or going for shopping or playing with children or eating grounding food. So something altogether different, or playing sports with children or other people. So you ground these energies. Then one can do gentle breath work. Meditation with body awareness also helps. Yoga helps a lot. With me, because I had been doing the physical yoga since when I was 16. So my daily practices of doing yoga helped me greatly because the yoga automatically grounds you. You're doing it on the floor, so the grounding is happening. And then followed by the breath work, which pranayam I was doing. So these things I was doing automatically, the grounding practices, the breath work and the meditation, body awareness. And then I was taking ample rest and hydration. And and I also knew about Kundalini. So all this helped me greatly, and I was personally not at all overwhelmed or anxious about Kundalini awakening. I would say it was not always a gentle experience, but mostly it was. There was time when suddenly the emotions erupt. But you are prepared. If you are prepared, you can deal with it. Now, the last slide of today we do this Kundalini activation is neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? Plasticity is a ability of the brain to undergo changes and sort of like a plastic undergoes changes and accommodate itself by making more neurons. So that is, the brain is very adaptable with the outer situations. So this adaptation of brain is called neuroplasticity. So this happens with Kundalini activation. Neuroplasticity process gets speed up and the brain itself undergoes many changes. Some researchers and spiritual teachers suggest that Kundalini awakening may correlate, I would say it does, with increased neuroplasticity, and there is changes in the brain wave patterns. Sometimes or at times, depending upon when the changes are happening with the speed because of the sun rays or the solar waves, you get heightened sensory perceptions, and definitely there is an activation of unused areas of the brain. With most people, not all the areas of the brain is used, but with Kundalini awakening, gradually the brain, the unused areas of the brain get stimulated, and they get activated, and more brain is being used now. So people undergoing Kundalini awakening often report altered states of consciousness. They do see inner visions and they do experience spontaneous body movements, and which you can say that there is an intense central nervous system stimulation going on within, and also there are changes in the brain structure. So with this, I close this presentation because there is a lot to grasp, to understand. The idea is to make you aware that if you are already listening to such videos, you are already experiencing spiritual awakening, then in time now or sometime later, it is likely that you may experience Kundalini activation also. May not be this lifetime, but then you are doing all the preparation for the next. So another reason is 2025 is a year of snake as per Chinese zodiac. It means many people are likely to experience either spontaneous or gentle Kundalini awakening. It is an important video presentation for all those who are undergoing a spiritual awakening, which is followed by Kundalini awakening, as we just said. So please like, subscribe, and share this video. This is something you can do for humanity because many people have no understanding of the spiritual awakening within them and what is the Kundalini awakening. So please do share this video. It's an important video. All this series is important. And we will continue our discussion in the next video. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss more information about Kundalini activation. So see you in my next presentation. Till then, take care. Bye for now. Thanks for listening.